Wow, now that's ingrown. So we have a patient here who came in with the second toe that literally was folded onto itself. This is probably one of the most severe type of ingrowns for a smaller toenail, not the big toe that we can see. And it just is kind of involutes on itself. It's what we call an involuted toenail, where it essentially folds on itself. And this is very difficult to just trim because there's just no way to trim it enough to get rid of the curvature of that nail. So patient opted to have the entire toenail removed permanently. And so here I'm using a freer elevator to loosen up the nail from the nail bed and from the attachments further back at the cuticle area. Once it's somewhat loosened, then I'll take a hemostat, grab a hold of that nail firmly, and it just pops out. And so that's the entire toenail. And now we have the nail bed exposed, which we're going to add phenol, also known as carboxylic acid. Essentially, this will cauterize that nail root and the nail bed. Now, mind you, the nail grows from the back part of the nail where the cuticle is, and as well as from the nail bed, which is where it sits upon. The key is, once we add a little bit of the phenol, I want to make sure I go back in and remove any of that nail-producing tissue underneath the nail fold, because if we leave any of that, or if any of that is not destroyed fully by the phenol, it will start to produce nail tissue again. So if you've had this procedure done and all of a sudden the nail or parts of the nail have grown back, it's likely that a little bit of this tissue was not destroyed and or left behind. So the curette is used to really make sure all of that tissue is removed. Once it's loosened up, I'll take a hemostat and further remove any little bits and pieces, because even a tiny little bit of that nail matrix or the nail bed tissue can start to produce little spicules of nail. Once we have that, most of that removed, we'll go back again with phenol to really make sure that all of that nail bed, nail tissue, nail matrix is destroyed and cauterized so that we don't have any nail possible to come back. After that's done, we want to make sure we flush it with alcohol. This just stops the process of the phenol from further cauterizing any tissue. The alcohol is used to flush it out. We remove the tourniquet and make sure that there's no bleeders. I use a Marigel, which is a wonderful wound dressing. It neutralizes any further phenol and allows for the healing to take place without killing any of the good tissue. We'll wrap it with a nice, snug, cohesive bandage. And this is usually the only large, bulky bandage that the patient will have, because afterwards they will start to either soak it or use the specialized wound dressing on a daily basis and use a piece of gauze and Band-Aid to wrap that toe. And that's it. The patient will be seen in 2 weeks. This is the before and after. Don't forget to subscribe.